Hi, this is Adam Sutton from Sutton Business Velocity. I wanted to spend a few minutes just to show you my website so you can get a sense of the services that my firm offers. Very quickly, when you land on the webpage, suttonbusinessvelocity.com, it's an easy way to get in touch with me here, or you could always just email me, adam at suttonbusinessvelocity.com. In terms of services that my firm offers, I'm going to click into here, but just to give you a sense, I offer total rewards support, including job architecture, salary structuring, incentive comp, equity, retention, health and wellness programs, and compliance support. And these are really the pillars of how I enact a total reward strategy to maximize operational efficiency, leverage compensation and benefits, and enhance employee engagement. Those are the things that you're going to get out of the engagement with me. And I've worked with a couple of companies already. I do have a testimonial on here. I'll show you in a moment. But I had a really terrific engagement with a company, and all three things in these pillars really came out of that engagement. It was actually a terrific opportunity to work with them. These are the areas that typically fall under the job architecture scope. Obviously, if you engage with me, any one of these areas might be, in a sense, up for grabs. It just depends on the circumstances and the assessment that we'll have together. I'll walk you through the engagement strategy in just a few moments. But you can see it covers all the areas: job architecture, grade level and salary structure, incentive compensation, equity and retention, org design, total rewards, compliance support. So I'm not an attorney, but I certainly can create and understand the compliance areas under the total rewards banner, and we'll give an attorney a pretty good start with how those things are set up. Retirement program development. I've worked with many companies on mergers, acquisitions, and divestitures. I've been on due diligence teams and have worked with organizations that have acquired companies over the past and just never really did the work to integrate them. So here's really the way the engagements would work. We first engage on the strategic side of this. So total rewards is one of those things that it touches employees and it costs a lot of money. So we want to make sure as we jump into this, we're not just jumping into the mess of things. Instead, what we want to do is really just take a better understanding of what the organization looks like in terms of its goals, identify the key areas of focus, develop a strategic recommendation, and then we'll have a strategic planning session, and we'll do some monitoring and make sure that that seems to be the direction that the strategy is taking. Now, this may seem like it's some massive organized process that takes months and months to happen. No, this is really at the pace of the client. This is the difference in what I'm trying to do at Sutton Business Velocity from some other companies out there. Instead of pushing on you, the client, a process that you're going to have to follow, and then there's a payment scheme that sort of works underneath that typically costs a lot of money to the client and favors the consulting firm to extend things and offer add-ons. That's typically how I've seen it work in the past. My process is quite a bit different. We're really going to engage this at your pace. So if you want to get this strategic work done in a few days, we're going to get the team together and we're going to do this in a few days. That's up to you. And I will engage any way I can. If you need me to facilitate this strategic process, if you need me to be guiding this strategic process, if you need me to partner with your current compensation or total rewards executives, I'm happy to do that as well. If you need me to just sort of step in and take the lead on all of it, I'm happy to do that as well. It's really at your pace. And that's Sutton Business Velocity in a nutshell. So if you want this done in the first day that we engage, we're going to have an 8-hour meeting and we're going to knock this out. And maybe it'll take 5 hours and maybe we'll have to get together for another day or two, but we're going to get this knocked out as quickly as we can and do it at the pace you want. If you're in other processes right now and are sort of trying to figure out the right timing of it, we can work through the strategy, come up with a plan, and then figure out how that engagement work over the course of time. That's another way to do that. But that's why the strategic work is so important. Secondarily is the analysis component of this. So there is this part of total rewards that's the sausage making and the ugly data driven part of it. Well, the good news is that I've done all of the ugly data driven parts of it for many, many years. I've worked with some amazing partners along the way to do the analytics that either they've done it or I've done it with them, develop different tools. But what we're going to have to do together is conduct a strategic organization around the work. So we'll have to figure out who's accountable for delivering certain elements of work and who's responsible for creating certain elements of work. Then we're going to create that detailed analysis. Now, again, this is up to the pace of you, the client. If you, the client, are saying we don't have the capacity to be able to do this kind of work on our own, engage Sutton Business Velocity to do this directly with you and either agree or come up with a timeline that's going to be appropriate to getting this done. So again, if you want this analytics work done within the second week after we just spent a week going through the strategic part of it, we can definitely do it. There's going to be data requirements and an interaction process that Sutton Business Velocity will have with your organization to be able to conduct these analyses and create the reports and present the findings to the stakeholders. So ultimately, it's important that the stakeholders understand and agree that we're focused on the right things and we're putting the right resources directed at them. And this is where the third part of things come into play. And this is again driven by our engagement level. Do you want Sutton Business Velocity to take over the project management work, provide guidance to your existing organization in terms of how this work should be conducted, to provide analytical support? It's up to you how you want to engage Sutton Business Velocity at your pace as well. If you've made the decision that now that we have the analysis done and we have a great strategy on how we're going to implement this, but you need 3 months to get through X, Y, and Z before you really want to start hitting the road and getting the systems in place to do this, great. We'll put that in place in terms of our timeline and milestones, and we'll pick right back up when you're ready to, get that project work started. But what we'll have to do here is again conduct that analysis, develop that project plan, get assigned roles, and this is a key to what we're going to do together in our interaction. It's responsibilities and accountabilities. So at the end of the day, if you're assigned to a role and a responsibility, the team is going to hold you accountable to it, and you have to be willing to move at the pace that the team is looking to move. Uh, there would be a management of the project execution. So this is where you would get guidance and support from Sutton Business Velocity to move the project along at the right pace and keeping everybody cohesive. So no one part of the project is moving ahead of the other without the dependencies really being taken care of. And then there's this report out process that we'll do together. So there's a lot of work in here. It sounds like a lot of work, but guess what? It depends on your pace. So if you come in and you want to get this project done within 3 months, we're going to have to sit down, understand how that strategically will come together, but we will get this done somehow in 3 months. So that's really the part of Sutton Business Velocity. I encourage you to go through here and read each of the deliverables. There's a pretty comprehensive set of data and analytics that are going to come from Sutton Business Velocity. If there's market data that's needed, I will work with you. If you have your own data, we'll go ahead and use your own data. I can sign third party agreements on privacy. But at the end of the day, it's up to you how you want to, work through that. I could always purchase data, and then the data would be yours after the project is completed. I don't own any of that intellectual property. So that's really, in a nutshell, how our services are delivered. I also put this piece back here of who am I? Let's get you to understand who I am and why it even matters that Adam Sutton behind Sutton Business Velocity can help you. So I encourage you to read a little bit about me. What I've done is I've just basically taken my resume and extracted the key parts of it and tried to emphasize the areas where there's cohesion between one area and the other and how it intersects with the work I'm trying to do here at Sutton Business Velocity. I've worked for some amazing people. I've had some partners that, I couldn't have done the work without them. Some of these companies are big names. Well, guess what? There's some big people behind these names, and I wouldn't be where I am without their help, their support, their partnership along the way. If any of you are watching this, I encourage you to reach out to me, Adam at SuttonBusinessVelocity.com. I'd love to reconnect and talk more about how things have been going. So this is just a little bit about me. I encourage you to read it and just get some credibility behind who Adam is from Sutton Business Velocity. So again, I encourage you to reach out to me. There's a contact me button on here. This gives you the best ways to reach me. And I look forward to our next engagement. So this is Adam from Sutton Business Velocity. Thank you very much.